when you get to the end of your
Sometimes,
season?
sometimes. No, I mean, most I think about my kids and, trying to catch up on time, with them. But, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. You just take it one year at a time. Obviously, there's always that, like long-term outlook. Like, what do you see yourself doing next? But, yeah, I mean, I try not to rush that, process.
Do you still do you factor in what you want to accomplish before you in your
Retire?
career, whenever it is?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, for me personally, if I could win another Super Bowl or, get to my 40, 20, then yeah, I probably start thinking about, next season a
Yeah.
little differently.
When you say catch with your kids, do you just mean the off season, or do you mean you want to have more years where they get to come watch you play? So I knew that was important to Drew, that his kids get old enough
Oh
so
yeah,
that they could enjoy watching the game kind of with him.
I mean, my kids, they pretty much been around,
Yeah.
for it all. I think they saw a lot of, good football.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, man, it's just about, taking them to school, just kind of doing all the things you don't really get to
Right.
do, during the season.
Yeah, from July to
Right,
February.
yeah.
Tyrann, what do you? I'm sorry, you've probably already been asked all these questions, but what do you remember about that first game against Atlanta?
Oh man, I mean, it didn't go our way for sure. I felt like we didn't play really well. First, second down defense. We had a few spots in the game where I feel like we played well, but for the most part, just felt like those guys were kind of in control. Of the line of scrimmage. So hopefully we could. Hopefully it could be the other way around this time.
How much do things change now with Taylor Heineke at quarterback instead of Desmond Ridder?
I mean, obviously, I think they're two different quarterbacks. I think with Desmond is always that, zone read, run ability, right? His escapability, what he can do on the move. Whereas Heineke, I see Heineke as more of a drop back, passer. So, I mean, they're two different players in that regard. But I think the scheme is going to stay the same, no matter who's at quarterback. They're going to try to run the ball and, play action, take their shots across the middle.
Yeah, Bijan Robinson, a big part of their run game. He's just so talented in space. How difficult is he to get down once he breaks through the front seven?
I mean, he's probably one of the best. Overall, running back talents in our league. I mean, any given moment, he could take it to the house. And obviously, when you factor in, just his vision, and obviously, anytime a running back can, line up at wide receiver, right? I mean, those guys, you always got to keep 6 eyes on them, So he's a talented player, and pretty sure he's going to get a good volume of work, Sunday.
What is it like facing a rival in a game that means so much for a playoff scenario?
Yeah, I mean, this is why you play football, obviously it's a lot of pressure, right? It's a big challenge, but that's what we want. That's what we signed up for. So I know those guys are, they're gonna come in here and try to, ruin our party. So we expect that, even if it wasn't a party, right? They'll still try to ruin it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a good game, physical game, and just looking forward to us being able to, do what we did this past week.
Is that something you guys lean into, or maybe try to kind of pump the brakes and not get too emotional about it?
Yeah, I mean, early in the week you kind of, just go with the flow, but as the game gets closer, right? You got to feel it. Your emotions have to be in it. You just got to be ready to go.
What would be the significance of finishing 9-8, even if the other things don't work out, as opposed to 8-9? Do you think it would matter? You know what I'm saying? In terms of how the team evaluates how it wants to move forward.
Well, I think you always want to, finish in the, win column. I mean, sometimes it looks ugly, but you always want to be, above 500 for sure. But yeah, I don't know what those guys are going to do upstairs, but I know for me as a player, you always want to finish on the winning side of it.
Do you feel like the perception of the team has changed at all with this Bucs win?
I mean, I hope so. I mean, that was a good team we played. Obviously, they've won the division, the last few years. I mean, it was a big win. And, I think overall as a team, I thought we played pretty well. And so, hopefully the fans saw that and, they can come in here Sunday, with some really good energy for us.
Yeah, the last time you guys were here, I don't necessarily remember the fans being too nice to the home team. What would be the message, I guess, to the fans ahead of this game?
Oh, we all in this together. Like we all need this. I think we all want to go to the playoffs, and it's been a rough year for all of us, right? But we kept pushing, we kept going, and we have our moment. Like this is our chance, and so. If we could create that home field advantage, and if us as players can go out there and make the plays to, get our fans excited, I think it's going to take all of that.
How did it go in the secondary meetings? Not to bring up a sore subject, because I know you guys played well overall, but DA had mentioned the 3 explosive plays in the fourth quarter. So when you reviewed those, what do you think you got from that review?
Well, I think for us, man, it's been that's not just the only scenario. There's been a few of those scenarios, right, where we've played really well for 56 minutes of a game, right, and then the last 4 minutes we're trying to figure out how to get 300 passing yards, right, and it's like a lot of it comes off a couple drives, right. Maybe we get lazy with our technique, our fundamentals. Maybe we think the game is already won, right, and we just start playing loose. We stop challenging. So I think all those things kind of come into it. We just got to do a better job of, just closing the door, not letting those guys get life, because, we controlled that game, for pretty much the whole game, right? And then it was like the last 2 minutes we scrambling, trying to play defense. So it's but, in essence, that game should have been over with, had we not, kind of succumbed to, self-inflicted, wounds.
What do you think happened to him particularly, in terms of getting over the top at that? Did you figure out why they weren't able to get over the top the whole game? Were they just taking more risks maybe and forcing the issue?
Well, I think early in the game, I think Baker did a good job of not taking those chances. I know he hit Mike on a dig one time, but other than that, it wasn't really him trying to push the ball downfield. I think he was just trying to take care of the ball, manage the game. But then you get in those situations where they got to have it on offense, right? And, they got to push the ball downfield. So, like I said, maybe we got laxed, thinking that they weren't going to do that, right? And so then they hit you with 2 big plays.